first question I have for you is, what are some of the long shots you think we should pay attention to that may well surprise us on election night? And the second question is one that I think you'd have a good handle on. Obviously, DeSantis is going to be reelected in Florida, and Greg Abbott's going to be reelected in Texas. Is there an over-under line where if, for example, if DeSantis wins by 10 or 12 points, that automatically propels him up as arguably ahead of Trump for the 2024 nomination?
So I'm glad you asked that, because just this morning, 2 new polls came out, one in Florida, one in Texas. And for some, they're keeping it simple. They both have the Republican up by 11. Now, look, I think we all knew Greg Abbott was going to be, at minimum, heavily favored to win re-election in Texas. I think everybody knew Ron DeSantis was heavily favored, and that Democrats would need some sort of, I shouldn't use the term perfect storm in the context of Florida, but just kind of this idea of a really perfect sequence of events to knock these guys off. And I think you're right. I think the margin of victory for DeSantis will have a great deal about the perception of momentum if he decides to run for president. I don't know if I see a scenario where DeSantis is the favorite against Trump, at least as of November of this year or December of this year. But I think that will create a lot of momentum, and something on par with that 11-point lead in the poll out this morning would be a statement. Trump won Florida by 1 percentage point in 2016. He won it by about 3.5 points in 2020. It is a Republican-leaning state, but it's not by a huge margin. People forget Rick Scott won the governorship by the skin of his teeth 2 years in a row. DeSantis last time only won by about 1% against Andrew Gillum. So, yeah, Republicans do well in Florida, but they usually don't win by a huge margin. So winning by 9, 10, 11 points, that's a landslide by Florida standards. Greg Abbott doesn't have that. I haven't heard too many people really seriously speculating about him as a presidential candidate. I like the guy a lot, and I wouldn't mind seeing that, but he doesn't seem to be all that interested in it, at least at this stage of his life. But what I find that interesting is that I feel like I've been writing, if not the same piece, then many similar pieces about Beto O'Rourke going back 4 years now. And I marvel at how Democrats talk themselves into saying, this is the year, this is good. And every time I write about it, the Twitter and the comment section, there are people who are absolutely convinced that this is it. And the example I just spotlighted in the corner at National Review earlier today, it's a San Antonio local paper. I'm not saying this is a major voice, but they're writing a profile of the thing, and they talk about how they really think Beto O'Rourke's got momentum because they were at a concert series in Austin. And people were saying, hey, let's go, Beto. And they even heard some profanity in reference to Greg Abbott. Well, a concert series in Austin. You have a very well-educated audience. I assume they know that Austin is, as Rick Perry characterized it, the blueberry in the bowl of tomato soup. This is where all the Democrats in Texas live. Not all of them, but you get the idea. And I went back and I looked. Travis County, last time around, when Abbott was winning re-election pretty handily, he lost it 2-1. This is a Democratic stronghold. This is a Democratic stronghold at a concert series. Do you think you get lots of hardcore Republicans at these Austin, music festivals?
Ricochet. Join the conversation.